Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Geezers. I am Wild Bill, the Unknown Comic, your host and the founding father of the show right here.
I am Pete, as always. Welcome back to another edition of Inside the Cover. So this is the show here on the channel where we open up the books and we show you what they're all about, talk about the storylines, read some stuff from them, show you the thing.
The ultimate show and tell.
That's right. So this has been proven to be pretty popular, and it's good for us too because this has allowed us to go back in. You know, when you have thousands of comics, sometimes there's a lot of issues where you may not have read them in years or decades, and this has been a good excuse to go back in and look at some of these classic comics and then be able to kind of show and tell, like Bill said. So today is, if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, we took a look at a classic issue of the Avengers, number 26, which had the then, at the time, new lineup of Cap, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver going up against Atuma. Right.
Yep.
So here is part 2 because that was a 2-part issue. So here is number 27.
27.
All right. So this, of course, was published. Let's get the publication date here. April 1966.
Yes.
We've got the story by Stan Lee, art by Don Heck. Daffy Dizzy delineation by Frankie Ray. I'm assuming that means the inking. And then the Looney Lampoony lettering by Artie Simic. So
I don't know Frankie Ray.
I don't know Frankie Ray either. But so if we remember, that issue left off with Hawkeye, who kind of decided to break off from the team for a little bit to go out carousing and womanizing at the local club in New York City. And of course, the team falls into trouble with Atuma. They try to send him the secret message via the new communications tool that Tony Stark gave them. Of course, Hawkeye didn't pay any attention at the time, so he doesn't know how to use it. So here he is. He's back at Avengers Mansion, and he's trying to figure out, oh crap, how do I work that? Boy, I should have been paying attention. And if you remember the last panel, there was like a shadow of some villain hanging out in the background. Lurking. So here we finally find out who that villain is. It's none other than the Beetle.
Uh-oh.
All right, fresh from stints in, so this is 66, so I guess by this point he had been showing up
in Daredevil?
I'm not sure if he had made Daredevil yet, but he was in Tales of Suspense because he went up against, I believe it was Human Torch. So that may actually be Strange Tales.
Okay.
Because I think he first appeared in Strange Tales going against the Human Torch, if my memory serves me correct. But regardless, here he is, the Beetle, and it's so funny how Stan says, they don't announce who he is, and Hawkeye doesn't recognize him. So Stan goes, "Longtime Marvelites will recognize our newly arrived arch-villain, but we'll keep our Johnny-come-latelys in suspense a while longer as a lesson to him," from sly old Stan. So in other words, if you don't know who he is, screw you, we're not going to tell you. So They don't mention his name at all here.
They don't do that too often.
Exactly, I thought that was really weird when I was reading this. I'm like, that is bizarre.
They always keep everybody in the loop, usually.
Usually, right? And they usually tell you last scene in issue, blah, 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 blah. So my guess is because it says we'll recognize our newly arrived arch-villain, that this is probably post his first appearance in Daredevil, but also includes the other ones, because it makes it seem like you should know who he is, and if you don't, well, shame on you type of thing. So he goes into this battle with the Beetle, right? They don't really tell you why the Beetle is there attacking Avengers Mansion. I guess that comes next issue, which I do not have. But so they go into battle here. Hawkeye kind of tricks him with this arrow that kind of does the loop-de-loop around him and ties him up, right? And he does that long enough, and there we go. Got a little Marvel Collector's Item, Classics, Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, classic issues of all of those right there. So it gives him just enough time to get into the other room where he does remember the code that he's got to do to send the message. But before we do that, let's go back underwater where Atuma is battling Cap and Quicksilver and Wanda, and of course, as we explained in the last issue, he is having a pretty good time of it because he's in his element, and you got Cap and the other two are wearing these like little helmets allowing him to breathe a little bit, but it's not in their element. So of course, Atuma is pretty much kicking ass here, right? So this fight is not going as planned, and they keep saying, "Where is Hawkeye? Where is Hawkeye?" So let's fast forward. And all of a sudden, Hawkeye appears, right? So there he is to help Quicksilver, They hop in. So apparently Hawkeye has borrowed the Fantastic Four car.
Oh, great.
Was it the Fantastic car? Is that what they call it, right?
I think so.
Something like that. So he grabs that, and that's what he arrives in, of course.
The hovercraft.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, the hovercraft. It's called something specific, but he's arrived on the scene. So they take this, they go underwater in search of the other three. And then, wouldn't you know, because Atuma's got lots of tricks up his sleeve, there is this giant octopus appears out of nowhere. I think you would like that.
Oh, yeah. That's a good splash page.
So he appears out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, they're being chased by Atuma's men in another ship, and then here comes the octopus. Well, they managed to avoid the octopus, and then as you can see right here, the octopus grabs Atuma's men's ship and destroys that, so there we have it, right? So then we've got Cap and Wanda are held captive. But Cap, always being the pretty smart guy, figures out a way to get Atuma to reveal how to operate his big control panel here. And that's actually what's going on right here. And Atuma, because he's such a braggart and everything like that, he's like, this is what we do. This is how we started the tidal waves above all this kind of stuff. So Cap is like, okay, great. I'm glad I got mental note of that, right? So then, of course, shortly thereafter, when they all break free, because, of course, here comes Quicksilver and Hawkeye, the battle ensues, right? And
Cap's at the controls.
Cap, of course, is doing his thing. So Cap, and here's the whole page where Cap is getting free. So he breaks his Whoosy Watts's, his ties, the ties that bind.
His shackles.
And then, of course, he disappears behind the scenes. And then, the battle continues on with the other three. It's a pretty cool battle. And then, all of a sudden, they do what needs to be done, and they escape. And Atuma's like, they have escaped. How did they escape? And then all of a sudden he notices he's pressing all sorts of buttons and nothing is happening, right? So it's like, and he says, but I can still stop them. I'll increase the pressure of my flood tide machine. It will cause the water nearby to crush their ship like an eggshell. And then on the next page, and I'll read it for you here in a second here.
Good old water pressure.
He goes, no, something is wrong. The control lever is not responding. It's reversing its function. The increased pressure is coming into my own ship. It's sabotage. Someone has tampered with the control. It can only mean boom, and boom,
sure.
Right? And then so much for... I will, yeah. And then they're like, so much for Atuma's flood, right? So in other words, above the surface, the Avengers are noticing that all the flooding and all the tidal waves have subsided. So much for Atuma's flood tide machine and the watery menace to mankind. And then Quicksilver goes, so that's why you were missing for a while, Cap. You set up the control panel so it would explode, right? So then, they go back, they get back into Avengers Mansion, the alarm is sounding, and that's, of course, ready to start the next adventure, which will take place in the next issue. And basically what they're saying is more of the Wasp and the Beetle and the Collector and the return of Giant Man.
The Collector.
The Collector, yes, indeed. So we all know the Collector pretty well. So that will be issue number 28, which, maybe we'll have on a future episode. So there you have it. Number 27, more fun under the sea. And I think...
more fun.
We got more fun.
This one is just a freehand. It's not really an issue of Comic Book Geezers. We just took out some legal paper.
Is that like a snake creature?
Snake Man.
Snake
Good
Man.
guess.
All right, cool.
Just fool around. Something to draw. Had this for a while, just never showed it. And it was like, maybe do a smaller version, and I just never got around to it. But little drawing practice for you guys there.
There you go.
So
interesting creation there.
Yeah, I didn't bother coloring it, but I could always take from this and do it in a second draft, you know?
Exactly.
Just an idea. So I was fooling around. Anyway,
Snake Man meets Wood.
Snake Man could meet Wood or the Fiend.
There you go.
I don't know. But anyway, thought I'd throw that in there for you. Just my 2 cents for this episode, guys.
Cool. And that's probably, since it's not finished, it's probably only a 1 center, right?
There's no prices.
No
not
price.
for sale.
Not for sale. Okay.
Part of the personal collection.
NFS. There you go. Okay.
Part of the personal portfolio. So as always, we'd like you to click the like button. Please click the notification bell so you can be kept in the loop every time we have a video. As always, thanks for being here. Thanks for your comments and thanks for your support. And please tell your friends if they like comics, they need to check out Comic Book Geezers. I'm Wild Bill, saying thanks for being here.
And I'm Pete. Thanks for watching another episode of Inside the Cover. And just so you guys know, we have read your comments. We know October is coming up, and we know what October is. It's Halloween month. So yes, we will be doing a whole series of Inside the Cover episodes in October on horror and monster comics. So stay tuned for that. Maybe some stuff that you've seen the covers before, but we haven't actually opened them up.
And we're going to pick what we like.
That's right. But you're going to like it. Trust us. You're going to like it. We'll make this fun.
You'll like it.
Yes. Damn it.
That's right.
Thanks for watching. For Wild Bill, I am Pete. Take care, everybody.